Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Kat. I am the Nurse Flipper. Happy Friday. I hope you have had a really good week. We have had a decent week. It's been a little bit hectic. We are headed today down to Mount Dora, Florida, to Renninger's for the antique fair. So if you're in the area today, which is November 14th, the 15th, and the 16th, is a really big antique fair in Mount Dora. They do it in November, January, and February. So we go normally to 2 out of the 3. And we are going to this one with our friends Sam and Adam from Jolie Flips. So if you're in the area, you can message me on Instagram or Facebook. I'll let you know where I'm at. It's a really big fair. But today, we are going to go over bread and butter items that have sold. So items between $15 to $50. On Sunday, I'm going to do my high dollar what sold, and we have had some incredible high dollar sales lately, and a lot of things are selling fast. And I've been doing a 60% off sale on inventory that has been here over a year, and that is making some of the older things for us, which makes me really happy because I just don't want it sitting here anymore. So I'm going to share these items with you. I am going to show you Poshmark, Mercari, and Etsy. I then will show you eBay as well, which is our primary platform. That is where we sell the most. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So I really wanted to share this with you because it's a brand new feature. I just got it 2 days ago and I'm so excited about it. List perfectly on the sales and analytics now pulls whatnot in, and I absolutely love that. So I can get a really good comprehensive view of what we're doing. So this is for the last month. I'm gonna swap over to the last 7 days because I do these what solds once a week and show you here what we have done in the last week. So it's kind of crazy because I have done several sales on Whatnot over the last week. Whatnot is almost what eBay is. So those of you that have been thinking about live selling, definitely give it a shot. I will tell you that is live sales as well as static marketplace listings. So just keep that in mind. And you can see eBay's at 48%, Whatnot's at 40%, Posh is at 5%, Etsy's at 4.5%, and Mercari's coming in at 2%. So Mercari has been the lowest for a while. And I was actually talking to Trish today, and she was encouraging me to try Depop because she was saying she thought my jewelry might do good there. So we might add a platform because it's really easy when you have a cross-posting service to just add on another platform, especially when they end the listings for you. So let's take a look at the last 24 hours real quick. I haven't done any sales over on Whatnot. I might do one a little bit later, and keep an eye out on Instagram and Facebook because me and Sam might do a show over on Knickknacks and do a dual host, and both of us will be selling. So follow me on Instagram and Facebook if you don't already. So last 24 hours, eBay is at 260, Poshmark is at 113, and Etsy's at 66. So altogether, we're at 439. My goal for eBay tends to be 500, and we have been making that. And I'll show you eBay alone once we get to the eBay sales. But it's really good to have this mix. You can see here how important it is to have your items available on multiple sites. If this is a main source of income for you, if it's just a hobby, I don't think it's that much of a big deal. So let's go ahead. We'll start off with Poshmark, jump to Etsy, Mercari, and then we'll finish up with eBay sales. We are starting off with this vintage Florida state landmark souvenir handkerchief. I got a ton of these probably 3 or 4 years ago, and a lot of them actually sold for around $40. So I bought some more. I got them for 50 cents. The payout on this was $15.30. So it's actually almost a $15 profit, and this sold in 1 day. So the averages on these look like they're closer to $15 to $20. But if you find state handkerchiefs, make sure you research the state and the exact pattern, because there are still some that will sell for that $40+ mark. So vintage Florida souvenir, I got this from a online auction. I got quite a few of them, so hopefully you'll see some more state selling here soon. And you can see this one did have some discoloration on the fold line, so we do zoom in and show that. We also type that in our description. These are just your standard 12-inch handkerchiefs. Quite a bit of discoloring, and I do know how to restore them, but unless they're one that's going to sell for about $50 or more, I find it better just to sell them as is. I think a lot of the handkerchief collectors restore them themselves. This vintage Estee Lauder compact, it does have a lapis lazuli little stone. I put sunburst medallion necklace. This one sold for $23. The payout on this one was $16. This is one from a costume lot, only about $1 in. So this is another one that's about a $15 profit over on Poshmark. Some compacts can be absolutely insane money, so keep that in mind. There is that Estee Lauder signature 23-inch necklace, heavy, and that compact is big. And here you can see we do show it out with the ruler, show the interior of the compact. And this one only took about 2 months to sell. These NFL gloves were also a fast sale. These sold in under a month. They are NFL Green Bay Packers utility gloves. I did put yellow sport work gloves. I like to put fan and gift if I have the room on sporting items. And these I got in an online sport lot. So there were gloves, there were t-shirts, there were blankets, there were all kinds of sports memorabilia for fans. So this one is a $11 payout or $12 payout. I paid about $2 for these. So they're a $10 profit. Very, very fast, very easy to photograph and ship. These were new. This is something, if they were used, I probably would not pick up because the value wouldn't be there. But I am okay turning $2 into a quick $15 sale because a lot of the items that were in that lot were quite a bit more valuable. This little Coach Daisy, it was liquid gloss. I think I didn't have enough room to write small out. I think that is what happened there. So I did put berry patent leather wristlet, pink fuchsia wallet. Sold for $25. Payout was $20. I got this at the thrift store for $5. So this one is a $15 profit. It did take about 4 to 5 months to sell. So a little bit longer. And you can see we do zoom in on the tag and show the measurements and the inside as well. Relatively fast on this coach. A lot of coaches can take a long time to sell unless you're pricing them really low. I don't pick up a ton of coach. I do try and find the exact item. Like this one's really small, and for that I am happy with a $25 sale. This is the only Etsy sale I'm going to show you in this video. And it's not because it's the only sale we've had. It's the only sale that's under $50. So the rest of them you will see on Sunday. This is a vintage Young Jesus with Lamb miniature print from 1945, Kriebel Bates and Warner Salmon. And I did learn that from Google Lens. Quick sale, less than a month, $39.99. And here you can see there is the back. This is really small, guys. This is only 3 by 5. So a $40 sale on a postcard size print that I paid less than $1 for is an excellent, excellent sale on Etsy. And it is going to be about a $32 to $33 profit. Now we are moving over to Mercari. This is a Hallmark Keepsake Millennium Express 2000 train ornament. I did put lights, motion, and sound, and I accepted a best offer of $25.50 on this. Watch for the ones that have motion. Those tend to sell for a little bit more than just your regular Hallmark ornaments. So this one I got in a big lot, paid less than $1 for it. This was actually off of a Facebook Marketplace lot which is another place you can look, and depending on your area, might be a very, very good source for finding inventory. In my area, not super often. So this one's close to a $20 profit. And if you haven't got that Christmas stuff up, guys, get it up now. Super important. This one is vintage. It is from 2000. And here you can see it's a little bit bigger. It's super cute with the train. And we do have the original box with it. And this is one that plugs into the Christmas lights to give it its power. And an excellent, excellent sale. $25.50 on a single ornament. I am very happy with. Next up is one that always amazes me, and it did take a year to sell. Way less than $1 into this, I got a whole ton of Barbie clothes, and what I did was the ones that really kind of stood out to me, I pulled them and listed them separate, and then I did quite a few lots of like 10 to 15 pieces for cheap just to move the rest of them. But this individual dress sold for $23. So it's a $20 profit. And this is a handmade one. So don't think you have to have the Barbie branded to sell it, because there are a lot of pieces that are handmade that can still sell very, very well. Last on Mercari before we head on over to eBay is this vintage scrimshaw style pendant, nautical. I put clipper ship whale tail design, sold for a best offer of $23. I only paid $2, so about an $18 profit. So there you can see that whale tail. I'm a big fan of whale tail jewelry myself, so if I see it in something I'm selling, I definitely put it. There is the back. And you can see it's just a little bit over an inch. I do okay with scrimshaw jewelry as long as it has a good design and I can keyword it well. Other pieces of scrimshaw, if it's kind of a plain or boring depiction on it, those I would leave behind, or for me, I just sell them on a live sale at a lower price. We are going to move on over to eBay now and take a look at our sales chart. For today, we are at $260. For the last week, we are at $3,900. And for last month, we are at $17,200. That is up almost 25% over the previous month. 90-day total is still growing. We're up to 41.5, trying to get to that $50,000 mark. So yesterday was a great day. We did 843. Tuesday was a little slower at 341. Monday was 655. Sunday was great, coming in at 940. And last Saturday was 344. Last Friday was 517. So pretty good overall. I am happy with where the sales are at. I am doing the live sales as well in addition. Let me know if your sales are up. Mine, I don't think it's necessarily a Q4 thing. I think that mine is because I am listing more and I am sourcing better inventory. So I'm getting a lot more higher dollar sales, which you'll see on Sunday. So make sure you watch out for that video. So for today, we are going to look up about 20 items that make up part of this 3,900, that some of them have sold fast. Some took a long time to sell, but I will tell you which is which, and I will tell you if I would buy the item again. First up is a pair of Brooks running shoes. I actually got these for myself and I just did not like the fit. So I bought them used. I resold them for close to what I paid. So I accepted best offer of $35. They sold in under a week. So watch for Brooks shoes as long as they're in good condition. And these are about a break even for me, but I love being able to buy them. I didn't want to return them to the seller. For me, I just simply relisted them. I think I wore them maybe 2 or 3 times when I had them, and I just didn't like the way they fit. So if you have shoes like that you bought, you decided you didn't like, list them. Why keep them in your closet? You might as well get some money back for them. This is something I very, very rarely list, and that's just a plain necklace. But this one was ATI Italy, so I did have a name. This is an Omega choker. It's only 15 inches. It was listed back in September, so just 2 months ago, sold for a best offer on 40. I paid about 10. So this one's about a $21 profit. And I think what I'm doing now is I'm just going to kind of stockpile these. And then if I get a pendant that I think would sell better with a necklace, or if I'm doing live sales and somebody wants a necklace for a pendant, I'll have them, because typically the plain chains don't sell very well for me. Let me know down in the comments if you've had success in selling either plain costume or plain sterling silver necklaces. This was a full price sale at $24.99. It is a United Airlines Global First Navy travel amenity kit. I did put zippered compartments. This one is United Airlines. I have gotten the first class stuff from several different places, so keep your eye out. This one actually came from an online auction, but I also bought a big lot in personal buy at a warehouse. So I have come across first class amenity kits several times, and they do tend to sell well. So this one has quite a bit. It's pretty plain. Sometimes the first class amenity bags are name brand, and those tend to be worth more. So here you can see Hands of Hope was the brand, and there's all the little toiletries, there's hand sanitizer, there's a pen. I only paid about $2 for this one. So this one's about a $15 to $16 profit, and it took 2 months to sell. These things have been flying off the shelves since I listed them less than a month ago. So this is a Simpsons large talking and dancing Homer Simpson toy, vintage. I did put new old stock in the box, never had been taken out, sold for full price of $49.99. I am about $10 into this one, so it is going to be about a $32 profit very fast. And I do think a lot of these Simpsons are going to people for Christmas presents. If you think they're going to collectors, let me know down in the comments. So you can see the price on this originally was $40, which is actually what I accepted, even though that's not what I paid. But watch for Simpsons stuff. I have done very, very well with it, including different plush. These are ones that might surprise a few of you because they are only gold tone. They are costume. They are not branded, and they sold for $30 in under a month, and I'm only a couple of dollars into them. So these are about a $22 profit. Them being jade is the main thing that sold these, though. I do very, very well with jade, so I like to pick up jade lots when I see them. These were very, very lightweight. Watch for jade, especially if you throw it in with those precious metals. The value can climb pretty fast. I don't tend to pick up these little baskets very much anymore because typically they take a long time to sell. However, I got this for free in a house clean out, and it actually sold in 3 months. So not very long. It is a Crown Staffordshire fine bone china flower basket. I did put roses, miniature, pink, yellow. So $35 off of nothing is leaving me with about a $26 profit. So when I get them like that, I will take them. But this is something I probably would not pick up if I saw it at like a yard sale or a thrift store. It's one that I would skip because these petals tend to be very, very fragile, and they do break pretty easily. This bowl took over 2 years to sell. Now it's sold because you can see I have it on a 60% off sale. I actually have 2,000 items out of my almost 9,000 items on or 4,000 items on a 60% off sale, trying to move old inventory. So I originally paid $8 for this bowl. It is by Louis Meideke. It is pretty plain Jane, not overly exciting, and still sold for close to $40. So it's a $24 profit, even though it took forever. I will tell you though, I was in the profit on the lot pretty darn fast. So this had like undertones of the blues and greens. This is really cool. Somebody that actually knew him sent me these photographs through messages on eBay, and thanked me for showcasing his pieces and told me I was more than welcome to use the photographs of him. So I think it's pretty cool. And here you can see him working in his pottery studio. So Louis Meideke, and let me show you the signature again. This one was stamped. Most of them are hand signed. So this is probably one of the later pieces that he made, but he is a Northwest potter. He is out of the Seattle area. So if you're on the West Coast, you might find his stuff more often than we do here on the East Coast. This was another fast sale, and honestly, this one surprised me because it's not sterling silver. It's a costume Paris bracelet. And I did look up comps. That's why I listed it. It sold for $29.99 in under a month. It is a 7.5-inch bracelet. It does have the different landmarks. So you can see I did put Eiffel Tower in my title because I feel like that's the better known. And I do tend to do that with stuff. You want to put in the title what you think the most people would be searching for. This one actually would go to 8 inches with that extender. So I could have put 8 inches in my title. It was a very, very nice costume bracelet, but still costume nonetheless. And I only paid $1 or $2 for this one. So this one is actually close to an $18 profit. I really love this candle snuffer. It has mother of pearl inlay, and this one took 3 months to sell, sold for $22.99. Got this for just a couple of dollars. I buy a lot of miscellaneous lots on online auctions because that's a really, really good way to get your cost per item down. So this one's a $16 profit. Again, took 3 months to sell. And here you can see the mother of pearl inlay on this one, and it's almost a foot long, 2 inches tall. And 3 months for this, I feel like is pretty good because I would have pegged this as a little bit of a longer tail item. Here's another one that I really was on the fence about listing because it's Better Homes and Gardens, which isn't like a really, really good brand, but it had some flaws, and I am going to show you that, but it sold in only a month. So pretty fast. I did have ivory blanket, Egyptian cotton. I put gauze, soft, cozy. We did put C because there is discoloration on the blanket, but I picked this up at the thrift store for just a few dollars. So it's an $18 to $19 profit and sold very fast. So here you can see some of that discoloration. So like I said, I was really on the fence about whether to list this or not. And I'm glad that I did because it was a pretty decent profit. This is a designer I had never heard of. And when you come across stuff like that, look them up because some of them might really surprise you. So this one is Claude Desquet. It is a sterling silver and red coral bracelet. It was longer. It went to 8.5 inches, between 7.5, 8.5 with the extender. Sold for $35 in just 2.5 months. I paid $5 for this one. So it is a $24 profit. And here you can see I love the leather combs a lot more than the velvet because they don't get all of the fuzz on them. So if you do jewelry, I definitely would recommend these leather ones over the velvet ones. So here you can see that Claude Desquet, very, very easy to read. There is the 925 stamp. And this one actually looks like it went to 9 inches. I've got to start paying attention to my links a little bit better. I think I was a 1/2 inch off on this one as well as one of the ones before. But very, very fast sale and a decent profit on this one. This one on the flip side took a year to sell. So with jewelry, it's kind of hit or miss unless you have a very, very popular brand or a specific piece that's in demand. This is a sterling silver. It was stamped STS. I did put multi-gemstone pendant necklace, sterling Italy rope chain, $60 sale, paid $5 for this. So about a $45 profit on this one, but it took a year. However, it doesn't take a long time for this to sell. Now, this is a very long sterling necklace. So here you can see the STS stamp on it. And this one is actually a 24-inch sterling chain. So This one was listed a year ago before we started putting the weights, and now we put the weight on all of the jewelry that we sell, and we just use a little food scale for that. I'll pop that up top for you guys. I think putting the weight on your jewelry is quite important because that's probably the most frequent question about jewelry pieces we get asked. The 60% off sale, moving things out, and I am so happy with that. When all of this stuff that's like a year, 2 years, some of it's older, moves out, I am absolutely thrilled. So these were about a year and a half, but I only paid $1 for them. They were in a big lot from a warehouse where I was talking about earlier, getting the first class amenity bags. So these are a $32 profit, even with the 60% off. And that's where you want to be, because honestly, you make your money on the buy. You don't make it when you sell it. So you've got to get them cheap. Here you can see the bottom of them. They were Vibram soles. They were brand new, never worn. I believe these are cycling shoes. And I had never heard of this brand. I just went ahead because I was making a pile. I'm like, okay, they're new shoes. You know, we've got first class amenity bags. Obviously somebody that is making some money. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these. My buy-in cost is cheap. They took a year and a half, but that's still a pretty decent profit. Next up is a Silpata, sterling silver, pearl, tiger eye, copper brass. I put cha-cha bracelet. That was the technical name by Silpata. This one sold for $49.99. I paid up for this one. I paid $14 for this one in an online Silpata lot. So I had to pay up per piece because they were all named pieces. But it sold for $50 in 3 months, making it a $28 profit. Watch for Silpata, and typically you can find the exact piece. That's why I love Silpata. I can get a real true comp on that piece and see if that piece is selling as well. You can see I put the B1853 because with like 90% of Silpata items, I'm able to find their item number, which is what that is. And like I said, that will give you a little bit better idea of how long the item will take to sell. This was a very, very fast sale, and I almost think it's because of the Dr. Zhivago. So I did put Laura's theme Swiss wooden inlay Sorrento Italy music box. Normally these take a little bit longer to sell. This one just happened to play a good theme song. Sold for $50. I paid $10 for this one, so it's a $32 profit. Very, very fast. I got, I believe, 4 or 5 jewelry boxes in an online lot. Here you can see this one luckily has the sticker and says the title, because I am not good at like guess that tune. I've had people ask me what other music boxes play, and I'm like, I have no idea. If it doesn't have the sticker, I probably am not going to know what it is. And this was a really, really fast sale in under a week. This bolo tie is not sterling silver. It is a silver tone. It also was missing one of the tips off of the end of the bolo tie. That's why my title says read. And you can see here in the condition issues, I also wrote it out. So this one has the turquoise and the coral, sold for $50. I paid $5 for this one. So it is about a $36 profit. Pretty fast. So bolo ties, if they have a good design, whether they are sterling or not, in my experience, they still will sell very, very fast. If they are sterling, it actually can take a bit longer because you tend to have to price those pretty high. Let me tell you, the lowball offers while I am having a 60% off sale drive me nuts. And I know that I shouldn't let them, but they do. I have this at 60% off from $70. Somebody tried to offer me 20, and I'm like, no, that is not happening. This is already 60% off. The original price is $70. I have it on a good sale. I held my guns and they ended up purchasing it. So I actually had 2 of these. The other one I believe sold for over $50, but I'm trying to move that inventory out that's older. So got this from an online lot of WDCC figurines, got 2 of them, and I'm about $5 in. So this one's about a $17 profit. And here you can see He is saluting. And there is a bottom. This one is from 2008, so it is not a vintage piece. We did have that original box, though, as well as the styrofoam, the certificate of authenticity. So we do make sure to show that. We show all angles of the box with the Disney stuff because a lot of times it's a collector. So the condition of the box can be important if somebody's buying your item as a collectible piece. Here is another one that sold on that 60% off, took 1.5 years to sell. Luckily, with the little Swarovskis, most times I'm only about $5 in. So this one's another $16 profit. I had it at 65. I sold it for 26. You know, they've been here a long time. I want to get rid of them. Here you can see we do show that swan marking on it. And I am happy with the sale. I'm happy to have these older items go. Am I taking less than I really want for a lot of this stuff? Yes, I am. But to me, I want to get rid of that stale inventory. I have a lot more knowledge than I had 2 years ago when I bought this. So I want that money back so I can buy better inventory. These pillow shams I got at the thrift store for $1 each. So I paid $2. They sold for 24 and they sold in 2 months pretty fast. So cross stitch blanks, in my experience, do pretty well, which is what these are. So here you can see this is all cross stitch fabric there. So somebody could get these, put their own design. They did still have their original tags that say Charles Craft. I have done amazingly well with cross stitch patterns, and I haven't gotten any in a while, but there are some that can be extremely valuable. So if you come across new old stock cross stitch patterns, definitely look them up to see if they're one that might be valuable. Last up are these mid-century modern tiki aloha carved wood goblets, a lot of 6. These actually went to Hawaii, which I thought was cool. They sold on that 60% off sale. They sold for 26 bucks. Got them in an online auction lot, only a couple dollars in, so $18, $19 profit. I don't know if I had them priced too high. I don't think I could find any similar to this. Put them on sale though. They sold pretty fast. So that tells me I probably did have them priced too high, but these are really neat. They are carved, and these would be a great addition if somebody has a tiki bar. Like I said, they are going to Hawaii, which I think is pretty cool. All right, that was everything. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Again, if you are in the area near Mount Dora, Florida, I will be at Renninger's Antique Fair tomorrow. You can message me, the Nurse Flipper, on Instagram or Facebook. I'll let you know where I'm at. It's a big, big spot. So happenstance running into each other is probably not going to happen, but I can tell you where I am at. I know I will be there. Jocelyn Crazy Lamp Lady will be there. Sam and Adam from Jolie Flips. Marsha from Red Cardinal Treasures is going to be there. Gino's Finds. Elena, I believe, is going as well. Treasure Diva Thrift. So many really, really cool people. So come and see us and join us if you are in the area. I would love to meet you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We're going to enjoy it at the Antique Fair, hanging out with friends, and watch for that high dollar what sold video on Sunday.